Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. So, here I am in my mildly norteño shirt, here to try some beers from the Colima brewery. There are 6 beers in the Colima range, which I'm going to look at in total, but not all in one go. Today I'm just going to look at 3, or rather in today's video I'm going to look at 3. I mean, after all, I don't want to get too pissed by the time I get to the Ticus Porter. So I'll look at 3. One is called Cayaco, the next is Colimita and Piedra Lisa. In a way, they're a kind of session beer, I would say, if we're looking at comparing to certain British ones. It's rather like having Beacon, Pedigree, and something like that. So a little about the Colima brewery. The brewery hails from the state of Colima, which is on Mexico's Pacific coast, and it's one of those states I'd like to visit. It's not a big state, it's kind of small, and looks a nice place. It has a volcano. It looks like the state capital, Colima City, looks rather nice as well. Very picturesque, a bit like maybe Zacatecas or Querétaro. And it's bordered by Jalisco and Michoacán, 2 other states that I'd also like to visit, especially in Jalisco, where we have, of course, Minerva and many other nice breweries. I can't remember which ones there are in Michoacán, to be honest, other than they do have rather good food in Michoacán. The Colima brewery is in the city or small town of El Trapiche. I think I pronounced that correctly. And that's kind of north and slightly to the right of the capital, Colima City. I was looking at the Colima brewery's website, and other than the 6 that I'm going to look at, they actually have another one, a 7th, just as a winter beer. And this winter beer is, I guess, a Dunkel style, which seems to be quite popular here in Mexico these days. So a nice, dark, rich beer, maybe slightly spicy. I don't know, I've never tried it. It has about 6% alcohol in strength, according to their website, and it's called Cabanuela. I'm not sure if I will see that in the supermarkets, but maybe I can try some at Almacén 42 when they have their Winter Beer Festival season, which I think is probably going to be in December, certainly maybe at the end of November anyway. So, on to the 3 beers that I have to share with you today. So I'll try these beers in order of strength. The first that I will try is this one, Cayaco. It's a 3.8%. Not quite sure what the style is. I think it's, don't know if it's a pale ale. It's more a lager type beer. Okay, which is very much what you would expect at that strength. Then the next, which does say lager, is 4.4%, and it's called Colimita, and that does say lager. It's a very popular style here in Mexico. When you look at all the other lager type beers, Tecates and the like, then it seems to be a style probably introduced by German immigrants who set up many of the breweries. And the third is this one, for a nice pink label, Piedra Lisa, which means smooth stone. And this one is 4.7% alcohol and is a session IPA, hence why I'm putting these as kind of session beers. So, on to the first, shall we? I only put these 3 in the fridge this morning, so they're not quite as cold as they should be. So let's hope this one doesn't go spurting over the table as I've had in the past with some. Let's open kind of carefully. Oh yes, that's good. Right. I can't remember having Cayaco before. I haven't seen it. I mean, I've tried the Piedra Lisa and the Colimita lager, but this one is one I haven't tried before. Pours nicely. Just a half glass. Oh, it's very fragrant beer. That's a very nice perfumey kind of aroma. I don't know if it's like a classic Pilsner, like Pilsner Urquell or others of that ilk, but there's a nice colour, very nice clear. You do get some of these craft beers, independent beers. I do hate that term, craft beer, that tend to have a little cloudiness to them. Not really filtered as they could be, but yeah, that is a natural yeastiness, I guess. Very light. Yeah, it's 3.8, kind of light. Nice and refreshing. This is on a good hot summer's day. This would be rather a good one, but we're in October now and it's getting a little cooler, but very lightly hopped, not too strong. I would like a little more hoppiness in that one. But nice, very clean taste. I like that. Yeah, it is good. I think this is, if you're introducing norteños or regios to a beer from somewhere other than Cerveceria that isn't Tecate or Carta Blanca, I think they would go for this one. This is light enough for them to enjoy. A little, maybe light, a little in between, I would say, a Tecate and a Tecate Light. But I guess this, it does actually say on it 95, so I'm guessing this is kind of 95 calories, a bit like those ultra beers, which I try to avoid. But yeah, I guess all breweries have to kind of get into that trend to survive. And it's, I would say, good on them to try and get into that trend, to get drinkers onto the beers that they produce and miss out on all the revenue that the big two tend to get. I wouldn't say it's a beer I would buy again, but I guess if you're drinking with friends at a barbecue and you want a couple of these and you happen to be driving, then maybe it's okay. Yeah. Although I would really recommend just having one, which is the recommended limit here in Mexico. Any more and you may lose your license, pay a rather large fine, or spend a couple of days locked up in the local prison. But yeah, nice. It has a nice dryness, yeah. That's one of those things this has over, say, Amstel Ultra and those various other ultras that you see. This does have a dryness, so there is some hoppiness coming in there. And yes, yeah, now you get a nice dryness in the mouth, and it is rather nice, yeah. As I say, I wouldn't buy it again, but it's nice to try. You have to try these things, I guess. yeah, yeah, rather pleasant. Maybe I would give that a 6 out of 10. Yeah, probably a 6 out of 10. So let's try the Colimita lager. Pours nicely. Another nice Pilsner style in colour. It's a nice colour, nice head. Has a similar aroma to the previous one. I'd say this one is a little stronger at 4.4, so it's just along the levels of Tecate, Dos Equis, Modelo, and those. But let's try for flavour. Oh, yeah. A nicer flavour. This is definitely one that would be good with some meat. Yeah, maybe let's have this with an asado de puerco, I think. Not as hoppy. There's not that strong hoppiness. And there's not the fragrance that there was with the Cayaco a moment earlier. This is just, I would call this just a glugging beer, as we describe such ordinary things in the UK. It's just a beer. It doesn't really, it's nothing exciting really. Yeah, there's a dryness in the mouth. Sorry, minor burp there, as happens with beer. But on that burp, you do get some flavour. A burp is very useful, as they say, to get that beer flavour. Not very elegant, but there you go. Yeah. The more you get through it, the more the flavour. Yeah, kind of complex. There is, I don't know, maybe it's sours hops, because it has that dryness. There's no bitterness, because in a lager you don't want bitterness, so it has to be something like a sours hop, the kind of hop you get in many German beers and Czech beers. But Czech and German beers do have a little bit of bite at the end. But this is more for Mexican tastes. And if you had a very hoppy lager, I don't think people would go for it somehow. That's why everybody seems to think, oh, there's no flavour to Mexican beers. It's because most Mexicans don't really want a very strong hoppy beer. What they want is a beer they can just enjoy and glug a couple at a family gathering or other get-together. It's just the enjoyment of... this is a beer that is something that you would enjoy the moment. You know, you would be there with friends and family, eating, chatting, whatever. And the beer is there on the sidelines almost. It's there to just make up the occasion. And yeah, I think this beer does that. It does kind of fit in with the Mexican cultural identity and cultural situation. It is rather nice. Again, I would give this one a 6. It's okay. I mean, it's yeah. I wouldn't put it up to a 7. Maybe it's a 6.5. Yeah, there's a little more going on compared to the Cayaco. So maybe I would give it a 6.5, to be honest. It is nice. It does fill the mouth with more of a flavour than you get with the ones from the big two, you know, Modelo, Tecate, Dos Equis, etc., etc. But, yeah, it's not a bad one. So next is an IPA, Piedra Lisa. A lovely, I like the label. There's no pinkness, although I'm not quite sure if the blue top goes well as a colour balance. Mind you, the text is in the same colour as the top. So, yeah, you get far more head building on this one. Yeah. Okay. It's a little more golden in colour compared to the Cayaco and Colimita. This is more of a golden ale, kind of rather like the same colour as a Duvel, to be honest. Hence the Duvel glass. Mind you, I did use the glass for the other two beers earlier. So, how does it taste? Oh, in terms of the aroma, that is wonderful. There's a lovely fragrance, far more fragrant than the other two. Oh, now we're in the territory where Colima are putting in great aroma. A little peppery, which you get from some IPAs, especially American IPAs. Very fruital, very fruital. It's like a citrus. There's the citrus aroma. Oh, it's wonderful. Maybe it's due to the water, because they say the water comes from the volcano, apparently, according to the blurb in the brewery's website. Oh, lovely. That is great. Oh, I do like that. It's a lovely aftertaste. Sorry, my phone just went bing. Yeah. It's got nice fruitiness, mildly sweet, but with a nice dryness at the end. This is most definitely a beer you could have with meats, maybe fish. Yeah, I think you could probably have this with some seafood. Well, Colima is on the Pacific coast after all, and so I guess with some seafood, such as oh, pardon me, I burped again. But oh yeah, as I said, that burp does help with flavour. Maybe with prawns or shrimp, as Americans call them. Maybe something more luxurious, like lobster. Yeah, that would go well. Or maybe some tacos de gobernador, those lovely prawn, cheese, and chili tacos, which I adore. Probably why I should want to visit Colima after all. But yeah, very nice beer. That I could be. I would be a very happy chappy if I had this beer available to me on a regular basis. It is a gorgeous beer. I do like that. Ooh. This is of a higher level than the previous two. And yeah, I would definitely call it a session IPA. This is the kind of beer you could, in Britain, sit in a pub and enjoy 2 or 3 or 4 pints with a couple of mates, talk about what's going on in the world, and put the world to rights, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, maybe a bit of chicharron with this would go very well. Have some crunchy chicharron from the local butcher with this beer, and life would be perfect. Well, I'm a man of simple pleasures. Yeah, I would give this an 8.5. Yeah. Yes, 8.5. I wouldn't quite got the 9, but I would definitely put it in that level. And there is kind of a bit of a step up between the other two and this one. Oh, yes. I could definitely live with that beer. That's lovely. I'll finish it off, I think. So those are the first 3 beers from Colima that I will be trying through the journey of their range of beers, which I bought in a case from Amazon. The next 2, I'll just do 2 because they're both a kind of pale ale, IPA style beer. One is Paramo and the other is Rio de Lumbre, which I will try together, as they are very similar, I'm guessing, in style. And then the third video will be a beer called Ticos, which is a porter. And with the porter, I'll be trying it with some Mexican chocolate. Because stout and porter and chocolate and desserts, especially rich desserts, really do go together. Let's see how having chocolate, and I will be using Turin chocolate, will go with the Ticos. Let's see. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe to those buttons down there at the bottom. I'm always vague as to where they actually are. Please, as I say, like and subscribe, and please tune in for the next edition of Colima Beers. Thank you very much. Bye for now.